Welcome to ULTA Beauty in Kansas City, store 343. My name is Kaylee. I am so excited to be considered for an artistic educator position. So let's get started. Come on back. Today, Sophia is going to be our model. She is our MSC here at our location. Today we're going to be demonstrating our tortoiseshell technique from our 2015 fall trend, partnered with our waterfall layering haircut from our spring trend 2017. I think these techniques are still very relevant to today. The tortoiseshell is going to create a fantastic balayage effect in a really easy, simple way. And partnered with the waterfall layering haircut for Sophia, she's got a lot of thick, gorgeous, beautiful hair. We're just going to liven it up, give her some layers, and she's going to look fantastic. We pre-cleansed her with our pre-art cleansing treatment before any chemical service, so she's really all just hair and ready to get started. We're going to start by draping our client. For this tortoiseshell technique, we're going to section her into a few different sections. The first section is going to be around her natural part. It's going to be 2 inches wide. The next thing we're going to do is directly down the center of her head, isolate the 2 backs, and then we're going to isolate the nape. In this case, Sophia has an undercut that she's growing out, so we'll clean that up a little bit later, but for our color technique, we're not going to fuss with it at all. Perfect, so we have our top section, our 2 front sides, our 2 front backs, and then the nape isolated all by itself. We are ready to get mixed up. So today we're going to be using Color Fusion. We chose Color Fusion because we want to achieve lift in her natural pigmented hair, but we also want to achieve a tonal value. So we're going to be using 8AB and 12AB with our 30 volume peroxide developer to achieve the amount of levels of lift that we would like. We chose a permanent color because we, again, like I said, wanted to use lift. And I chose Color Fusion over Chromatics because I specifically like the way Color Fusion feels on a foil. I think it's a little bit easier and to work with. And we have no gray coverage, so we didn't need to worry about using Color Fusion or Beyond Cover Chromatics. We're going to start with just 1 ounce of color and 1 ounce of developer. We're probably going to remix our color in between, just so it stays fresh. Alright, so we're going to actually start on the front left section of the head. So we're going to create a diagonal back section, about 1/2 inch to 1 inch wide. In that section, we're going to take an erratic skip, slice, skip. Now we want it to be very natural, very organic. It's going to help create blend to the hair. We're going to place that section on top of our foil. So in this case, our Formula A is going to be our level 8 and Formula B is going to be our level 12. We're going to place Formula A on the mid strands, leaving a space from your zone 1. We're going to place Formula B on her ends. We're going to leave a space in between the formulations though, and we're going to blend them together later. So once the hair is fully saturated, we're going to take our blur brush and using upward stroke motions, we're going to blend the 2 formulations together. And we're just going to place another, or in this case 2 pieces of foil directly on top. We're going to move up the section again, taking a diagonal back parting, 1/2 inch to 1 inch wide. Using another erratic skip, slice, skip. We're going to pull the ease off to the side and kind of tuck it behind this foil. It's going to really help with control so that it's completely out of your way. We're going to switch the formula, so we're going to actually do Formula B, our level 12, in the mid strands, and Formula A, our level 8, in her ends. Again, we're going to leave a space in between to blur. Our red blur brush, upward stroke motions, and blur the 2 colors together. And for good measure, we're going to go ahead and blend that into zone 1. Continue with this method for our side sections and also repeat it in our back sections. again, on the right side of the head, we're going to take diagonal back sections. We're going to take an 1 to 1/2 inch subsection. We're going to do an erratic skip, slice, skip, alternating our formulas A and B. So now that we've finished our 2 front sides and our 2 back side sections, we actually have the option to customize this technique. For guests who want a little bit more depth in this technique, we would just leave this top section alone and let it fall naturally. In this case, we're gonna brighten it up a little bit around Sophia's face for her. So what we're gonna do, very, very simple, is we're actually gonna take 2 horizontal partings, front to back. We're gonna do another erratic skip, slice, skip, and we're going to blend it up into zone 1 this time. Leave the hairline out, so I'm actually going to do a small little micro stitch just to help create blend, so then when she wears her hair back, she doesn't have that harsh line. We're going to actually use formula A, our level 8. And our second horizontal parting, we're actually going to use our formula B, level 12, to continue to help create that blend. Alright, so we are going to let her process for 35 minutes at room temperature. So our time's up. We're going to go ahead and get her rinsed out. We're going to shampoo her out with Color Extend Magnetics shampoo. Next, we're going to do the Redken Chemistry Shot Base. We're going to do Color Extend to help preserve her color. We're going to do 8 pumps just because Sophia does have lengthy hair, but really you don't need any more than about 4 for the average size head of hair. So once we've worked this into the hair for a good 5 minutes, we're going to directly on top of it spray pumps of 3.5 shot fix. So this is really going to help balance out our pH level and really help seal the cuticle down and push the product into the hair. We want to use the 3.5 opposed to the 5.5 because it's more chemically treated hair. 5.5 is more for damage with mechanical damage. So flat ironing, blow drying, guests who don't have chemically treated hair. And this you're going to work in for a good 3 minutes. Again, just to really make sure each hair strand is evenly coated and saturated with the shot fix. And once we've rinsed our chemistry shot out, we're going to finish it all up with the Redken Color Extend Magnetics conditioner. So today for our cut, we're going to be cutting off of her length about 3 to 4 inches. The first thing we're going to do is section her from the front to the back with a direct center part. Then on each side, we're going to take our top section around our parietal ridge. Then we're going to isolate the front from the back, so again, parting directly behind the ear. For our haircut, we want to have nice clean sections, and we actually want to clip a lot of it up out of the way, so it's going to be a little bit easier to work with each section individually. And then in our back section, we're going to isolate the nape, which, again, pretty simple. We've got our undercut here. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to start on the top left section. Because Sophia has quite a fair amount of hair, we're actually going to take this section and cut it into half too. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to this first section, we want to elevate the hair 45 above the natural 90 and using horizontal finger positioning, keeping in mind that we're only going to cut about 3 to 4 inches off of her length. We're going to stay directly in front of our guest. And we're going to point cut. We're point cutting to help create blend throughout the section. So once we finish that, we're going to take the back part of the top section and bring it forward. Find our guide from our previous section, elevated horizontal finger positioning, and we're going to point that. So once we finish with this section, we actually are going to clip it back up out of the way. For control, we're going to leave though a few pieces around to help with our guide for our next couple of sections. We're going to move and repeat the same process on the top right section. So using our guide from our previous section, elevated above the 90, and we're pointing. So then we're going to move to the left side section. We're going to comb everything over, direct it towards the front of the face. This time we're going to use vertical finger positioning. We're going to find our guide from our previous section directly in front of your guest's nose, and then we're going to angle our fingers just a little bit. We can go ahead and leave this section out, and we're going to repeat the same process on our back section. So we're going to over direct the back section towards the front of the head. Again, we're going to be using vertical finger positioning directly in front of our guest, and then we're going to angle. We're going to find our guide. Now, since we aren't working with the nape section in this case with Sophia, this section is going to be our length. So we want to keep in mind, like I said, we're going to be cutting about 3 to 4 inches off of our total length. Just repeat the same process on this side. We're going to go through and we're going to clean up her perimeter. We're going to make sure that we don't have any jagged edges. Everything's nice, clean, and solid. And in this case, we're going to cut a tiny little bit more of her length off. We're also going to cut a little bit more of her length off because we don't have that nape section to help add that density towards her ends. We don't want it to look sparse. So now we're going to go ahead and clip everything back up, and I'm going to clean up her undercut. We're going to get Sophia all styled. We're going to start off with pillow-proof primer to help protect her hair from the heat of the blow dryer and to just really help prime the hair for any sort of styling and also help cut down our blow dry time. And then we're going to follow it with a Line 12 to help with humidity resistance and frizz. So now that she's all blow dried, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just double check, cross check everything, make sure it's all even on both sides, and then we're going to finish her off with a nice curl. We're going to use Iron Shape 11 to protect her hair from the heat of the flat iron. We're going to do flat iron curls, and then finish her off with some Windblown 05. So we've created a little bit of brightness around her face. We've actually created more dimension towards her ends and created just a natural kind of highlighting effect with her. We gave her lots of fun face framing layers to give her some movement in her haircut and created a nice blend and a little bit of depth towards the top, leaving that top section out from coloring. Again, I want to thank you for taking the time for considering me for the artistic educator position. We had a fantastic time here at the salon at ULTA Beauty, Kansas City, where you can find all things beauty all in one place.